Yep.
He said it was because of the dad bod help. So,
Yo.
shout out to all the dad bods, baby.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll get into it. The Chiefs coming out. We came out with the dub, 28-18. This was
Score some points, baby.
Yep, Super Bowl rematch, and this was Andy Reid is 5-0 against Shanahan.
Dude,
so
that sucks.
So yes,
it sucks so much for Shanahan.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just
mad.
Frustrated. And we know coming into the game, both of the teams have been a little banged up.
Yep.
CMC hasn't played for them in the game. Brandon Ayuk ended up tearing his ACL from a hit that was like it. It looked like the hit looked like more rib, but when you saw the actual hit when they slowed it down, it was his knee hyperextended. It really looked like Rashee Rice's.
Yeah. Or it went the wrong way.
Yeah. So
and the hit was on. It wasn't like the hit was like super. It was on his thigh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like he was diving at the knee. The hit was on the thigh.
Yep.
So
just the direction which he
yeah.
planted and the hit. Yep. And then for them also Debo, I think came in first series or whatever, but pneumonia, the sickness or whatever, saw him walking off. So, and then continued without Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Pacheco out. So both just a little banged up, but both trying to come in and make the best of it, which, we ended up putting them 28 points, and they were all touchdowns.
Yeah.
Which, we have struggled majorly being 29th in the league for red zone scoring.
Yep.
So it was good just to see those 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
Considering these stats, with Patrick Mahomes only throwing 154 yards, and he did have 2 picks. One which the defensive lineman just.
I mean, it was a great play.
It was a great play.
It was a great play.
It was a great play. So, his stats weren't great.
Right.
But
my thing on that play is your offensive lineman, which we had Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey. Was it Trey or was it Joe?
It was on the right. It was on the right side.
So Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey was blocking. Trey Smith initially jabbed, but then he went out to the out, but nobody was there. I'm like, you got to stay on that block with Creed. And like to keep that lineman's hands down. But I mean, realistically, it's just one of those things that just a fluke thing. You know what I mean? Just a fluke thing.
Yep. And I mean he was sacked twice for 9 yards. So, not terrible there at least. And so, before with saying that, can we just give a round of applause? Juwan Taylor, zero penalties, baby. Let's go.
Hey, that was great.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great.
Yeah, it was really
Although a lot of people were calling for penalties. He did a great job this week of when somebody beat him to the outside. Once they got to his hip, he let go.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are like, oh, he's up around his head. He's up around his head. Well, when he's within your shoulders, you can kind of do that. Right? Yeah. But once the Bosa and Warner or whoever else he was blocking, once they got around to his hip, he was releasing, which is what the referees want to see, right?
Yep. So that was great news on the day for sure, and we hope to see that continue to improve. In the rushing game, Kareem Hunt with another big day, 22 carries for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was instrumental again in that red zone. Scoring us a couple touchdowns, which was fantastic to see. And I mean, all of our touchdowns came from rushing. Patrick Mahomes, had a rushing touchdown where he just, flicked the hit stick and just kind of. But he said it was because of the dad bod help. So shout out to all the dad bods, baby.
Oh my gosh.
But all things considering. I'm sure the defender, not trying, the quarterback is stepping to the end zone to not get a penalty. You got to, let up a little bit. And then then Mahomes just trying to.
It didn't look like Mustafa came in light, though, man. It looked like he came in heavy. It's just he hit Mahomes up high in the shoulder, because he's trying to stop him from getting to the end zone. But he's coming at an angle when Mahomes is coming straight. That usually doesn't pan out well, especially when the guy's got 20 pounds on you,
Yeah.
Poor
So,
guy.
yeah.
He jumped on X and he said that, I'm getting roasted because of all the memes and stuff.
Right. So that was just a great run of Patrick Mahomes. We seen in the game when you watch another great run where he went for 33 yards when he did a couple of fakes and jukes, and they just couldn't get him now. So that Patrick Mahomes in the run game is pretty elusive. So that was great.
I just love that picture.
That picture's great.
That is pretty good. It's pretty good.
May have to throw it up, but
yeah, him getting trucked. So that was pretty good. And then McCole Hardman, he had a great overall game.
Killer. He's a Niners killer, man.
Yeah. He had a great overall game. He had 2 carries, 38 yards, 1 touchdown. And, in that jet sweep that he scored that, you can just tell in the game at that moment, 49ers thinking, oh, they're going to run a ball up the middle, just kind of keep the clock rolling. At least if they get the first down, if they don't, then they'll kick a field goal.
Right.
And we come with a play with the jet sweep that just sends them on around. And obviously everybody was stacked in the middle.
Yeah. And,
got to the 1 yard line, and Fortson come in to help him out to push him in there with a couple defenders on him. So McCole Hardman, he had he just stepped up in ways. He had 1 catch for 17 yards. We all probably thought and looked like that McCole Hardman would have caught that receiving touchdown that Mahomes just was off on his throw that looked like the Tom and Jerry play.
McCole Hardman also slipped on his initial route. I don't know if you caught that, but on his plant, it wasn't a big slip, but his foot slid like a foot to a foot and a half on his out route, and he was still bent over when Mahomes released that ball. If he could have got to the upright position, he still might have caught that ball too.
No, there was no chance. The ball was that was the play in the end zone where the ball was on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ball was here, and Mahomes.
Right, well, if he doesn't slip and he gets upright, I think he can catch that ball.
I don't think he had a chance. No. When you show the replay of that play,
see if you can.
I don't think he had a chance.
See if you can find that.
And then and also continuing as he looks it up, Noah Gray in the receiving room had 4 catches, led for 66 yards.
Noah Gray went off.
Yep, he had 1 for 26 yards. So Noah Gray is, he stepped up.
He's one of our leading receivers.
Yeah, he stepped up in a big way because we know now even more without Rashee Rice, just the attention that Kelsey is drawing. He had 4 receptions for 17 yards. And so, some of that is what it is. We seen a nice play that Worthy was able to catch when Mahomes was basically being tackled, and he flips it to him to get a first down. We had the other play where the end zone play. The end zone play that was dialed up that we scored a touchdown when we had 4 guys in a 3-point stance. I'm pretty sure that this play was made up when Andy Reid was on vacation at some point. Like, hey, this would be really cool to do. He's sitting down his balcony, looking at the beach, and he's like, So he had Travis Kelce in a 3-point stand. He had Kareem Hunt in a 3-point stand, Patrick Mahomes in a 3-point stance, and Carson Wentz in a 3-point stance.
Right.
And so all of them down. So,
you see them all in a 3-point stance.
Yeah.
How are you going to get the ball in a 3-point stance?
Yeah, you're like, what is about
You got no idea who's getting that ball.
No, not at all. So the snap comes, Carson Wentz gets it, and then kind of is going to the left and gives a handoff to Kareem Hunt in the inside and scored a touchdown. So just some of that trickery. It was it was nice to see, and we capitalize on it,
right?
Especially in the red zone, which has been a struggle. So we've seen just some fantastic plays. We do need the note, and let's just say it here. It is time to move on with Sky Moore.
Oh my gosh!
It is like give Nico, Justyn
Ross,
or Montrell opportunity. Like, here's the you want to know the crazy stat about Sky Moore's stats is why ain't Morrison Patrick Mahomes has more receiving yards than Sky Moore? Check that out, and more touchdowns
on less targets.
On less targets.
On less targets. I'll wait.
I'll drink to that.
I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll drink my water for that.
Let that soak in.
It's
so.
Well, and like I get it, you guys. We drafted him, and like he made big play in the Super Bowl a couple years ago,
which was his first touchdown on the year.
Which was his first touchdown on the year that year. But here's the thing: it's at this point in this season, it's a pattern, right? Mm-hmm. Because last season it was the same thing. Mm-hmm. He had more catches. He had more yards. There's a reason why he's only had 3 targets on the season when we only have 4 receivers.
Well, and he played quite a bit of snaps in this game, too, when Juju went out.
Yep.
You know, he played quite a bit of snaps as well. So it's just
there's a reason. And let's be honest. When Sky Moore's in the game, everyone knows he's not getting the ball.
Right.
Everyone knows he's not getting the ball.
And on that play, like, it wasn't like Patrick Mahomes, the best throw he could throw, but he put it in a position that
he can catch it,
could catch it, and
at first Twitter was blowing up because everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, he caught the ball! He caught the ball!" And then they did the replay, and everybody said, "I regret what I said."
Yeah, yeah.
It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I just think, man, I think at this point of where we're at, especially in our receiver room, which we'll get to some great news there, but considering that. I just think, I mean, what is it to hurt? You know what I mean?
To try one of these other guys.
They know the playbook. They've all 3 of them have been around at least for 2 years, 2 years, and so like, why not give them a shot to capitalize on an opportunity, especially like Nico? I think he got some hands, bro.
Perfect replacement for Sky. He can return the ball.
Yep.
And he can catch the ball out of the backfield or like on jet sweeps or I mean, he's a perfect replacement for Sky Moore.
Right.
Perfect replacement. Montrell looked fantastic.
Oh yeah,
in the preseason.
In the offseason he looked really well.
He looked great. He I mean, pretty much fought for a spot where nobody was sure who was going to fill that 7th role as a receiver. You know, so
yeah, I had to say it. I had to get that out. I just think it's time to move on.
Yeah.
From the guy and just just let him find his way and we continue to move on.
Get him out of here.
You know.
I hate saying that, man.
Yeah.
When Sky Moore came out of college, it was like, dang, like he was making catches. He was making catches in the preseason. He was catching the ball. He has tree trunks for legs. We're like, oh man, that dude's gonna be able to run people over. But he's just like the hype was too big. I feel like the pressure maybe a little bit too high, especially with not having big number 1 guys. You know, we've been puzzling our wide receiver room together for the past 3 years, and I mean, it's disappointing to see because you want a guy to do well, especially on a team that's 6-0.
Yeah.
Like a team that's 6-0, why are we calling for somebody to go down? Realistically, it's because we ain't got nobody else.
Yep.
He's shown he can't catch the ball. We need to give somebody an opportunity to show they can.
Yep. And I think it's just that moment to it. But I guess we'll see what happens. And, I want the best for him, and we need the best from him.
Yeah.
Because, we're finding ways to win the game. So. Yeah. And then the other big highlight was just our defense overall, man. Our defense is just playing stout. They got 3 interceptions from Brock Purdy, and kept him from throwing a touchdown. The run game was locked up. Mason didn't have anything really big or major. He had 126-yard run, but outside of that, I mean, they stepped up, stuffed him.
So they said there was 1 sack for 3 yards. I think there was another sack, unless he got back to the line of scrimmage, and they're not calling a sack because he got to the line of scrimmage. But I thought there was a couple of guys who got Brock Purdy in the backfield. I could be wrong, but
it could be.
They're saying it's just 1 sack for 3 yards, and that sack was our boy Georgie.
Yeah,
Georgie Karlaftis.
The Karlaftis, yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
So, and then again, we continue to struggle a little bit with tight ends because George Kittle did go off a little bit for 6 for 92, but no touchdowns there.
Right. Well, and a lot of that was in garbage time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He had a really big catch, that 50-yard catch or 40-yard catch, whatever it was, in the 4th quarter. So, I mean, up until that point, he didn't really have a whole lot. Cowing had that 2 catches I think my watch is trying to talk to me.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's watch is trying to talk to. But Cowing had that one big catch. He had 50 yards total. I think that one catch was like 40 yards or 35 yards, something
41.
like that. 41 yards. Oh, yeah, I see him there.
Yeah, and I would say that one, I mean, you know, I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but that one, you know, was, you know, after Watson's out and Najee Johnson was in the game.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he thought he had safety help over the top, but he bit on that double move and got burnt on that. Luckily, he fell to the ground.
Right.
And, you know, and was not able to continue to run into the end zone.
Brock Purdy's 2 deep passes, the one to George Kittle and the one to Cowing, were both underthrown.
Yeah,
those are touchdowns if he throws them over the top.
Yeah, because the one was against Justin Reed, right? Yep, that's right.
Well, yeah. Oh, George Kittle burned Justin Reed.
Yeah.
Like Justin Reed came crashing down here because George Kittle is usually a guy kind of like Travis Kelce, get to a spot and sit. So I think Reed was trying to jump that, but then George kept running, and it was an underthrown ball. Which if Justin Reed throws his hand up like a millisecond sooner, I think like the trajectory of where his hand was, he's probably tipping that ball.
Yep.
But so him being able to recover that well is pretty good. But it was against a tight end. So
yeah. So yeah, our defense is just they're playing extremely well against a tough opponent.
Yeah.
And we've seen it in the first 6 weeks that they just played extremely well. So huge.
I can't find that Mecole Hardman clip. Just so you guys know.
Huge shout out just to the defense and how they're playing. And they're keeping us in moments. You got to think. I mean, we did have 2 turnovers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they stepped up. They stepped up huge to get us turnovers as well. And so Spags, man, they're keeping them rolling. So I just want to see the offense continue to just pick up the defense more. You know, keep them off the field at different times. And so this was a big win against Super Bowl rematch. Both sides, banged up with some injuries, but came out to play, and it was just good just to get that win against them, another tough opponent. That game was in the bag, and I think, again, got to clean up the turnovers for sure. We cleaned up some of the offensive penalties and just how the line played well there. We just got to get some a few more guys to kind of step up in moments, which, there was P. Ryan had that big play that he caught the ball for, 22 yards. Justin Watson had the 1 yard for 8 or 1 catch for 8, which put us, I think, like 3rd and short or something like that to set us up to move the ball there. Kareem Hunt had a couple passes, and which one that was on a 3rd down, he caught, juked the defender, and was able to get the 1st down. So that was.
We didn't talk about this at all, but CRW and Jaden Hicks both got their first interceptions of their career. So congrats to those two. But I think us being able to go 4 for 5 in the red zone. That one fluke tipped pass by the defensive lineman, great play that we didn't convert on. But 4 for 5, it shows. Well, in several drives, we ran the ball straight. We ran the ball 10 times, in a row on one drive.
Yeah, we ran the ball extremely well. Well.
It's showing that we're utilizing that so we can open up the pass. That was a great thing to see, and I think we're going to continue to do that against the Raiders.
Yep.
So
yeah. So that's the recap of that game. 6-0. 3-0 on the road, 3-0 at home. So. Man. Chiefs are playing well. Here's the thing, even considering in each game having some just kind of things that really haven't went well, we have found. You okay over there?
Yeah, I don't know. That was my excitement.
No, it's okay. We're good. We are finding a way to win, and that's what great teams do. Great players do. Great coaches do. That's what we'd love to see, especially some of these opponents that playoff teams. Several of them, at least 3 teams that are, tough between the Ravens, the Bengals, the 49ers, 3 tough games, Falcons, So just finding a way to win in those moments is just show the grit and the motivation they have to just see things through.